Well, happy Sunday, everybody. It's a beautiful day out in the bee yard. Currently, we are looking just a little bit above 40 degrees, but these girls are going at it like gangbusters. I think it's time to remove our hive huggers. That may be a little bit premature. I don't know if we're going to have any more snow, but it's projected to be about 70 degrees today. And I kind of have a feeling like this might have kind of stopped working because the one in my front yard says it's at least 55 degrees, so I don't think that there's that much of a temperature variance between my front and my backyard. Could be wrong, but hey, that's just me. All right, so to get into it today, we are going to be taking off the hive huggers on hive 1. Nope, hive 1, hive 2. I'm going to be feeding them a solution of simple syrup. I'll be putting that up next to in their hive or in front of their hive. I haven't decided yet. It's a 1-to-1 sugar to water ratio. That is for feeding bees. That's the most closely similar to nectar. So we're going to be doing that today. Also brought out some extra frames because I'll be taking things off. I'll be checking to see how they're looking for room in their boxes. Just to make sure that they still feel like they have plenty of room to grow and expand. Bees that feel like they are limited by the size of their hive will actually swarm and find a different hive. So we're going to be checking for any swarm cells today, any queen cells, anything like that. So I'm going to be trying to film from a different angle today, so bear with me. We'll see how that works out. So anyway, we're going to get into this. Alright, well, happy Sunday, everybody. Just me out in the yard by myself today, so I'm going to get some gear on and get to unwrapping these boxes and see how well we do. Like I said, it's supposedly 42 degrees, 43 degrees right now, but that seems like that is off, so I might have to get myself a new thermometer. So I think that may have broken. I like to gauge opening my hives depending on what the weather's doing outside. Your bees aren't flying about. They normally won't fly about unless it's at least 50 degrees or warmer. So I like to gauge. That's why I start all my videos off every time with trying to figure out what the temperature is, what the bees are doing, because I don't want to open a hive and accidentally kill my bees, kill my baby brood, because it's too cold for them to be tolerating colder temperatures before I open a hive. Also, it kind of lets you know why I'm huffing and puffing, because sometimes when it's super warm out, you know, talking about 80-degree days, wearing a suit, you're dying in this. Even though that my suit is a specially formulated design. It's a 3-tiered suit. It's they don't really call these air suits. I forget what they call these. It's kind of just like a mesh suit. So you've got mesh on the inside, you've got an inner layer, and then mesh on the outside. So the mesh is small enough and strong enough to prevent bee stings. I don't really think that this would work on wasps. People try to ask me to come eradicate their wasp nests, and I'm not doing this. That's not enough protection in one of these suits. So not happening. Thank y'all. Love y'all. Don't ask me to do it. That's what exterminators are for. As long as you've determined that they're not bees, I'm okay if you use poison to kill them. But nobody likes a wasp. Fun fact, wasps can keep stinging you over and over again and do not lose their stinger like bees, so that's why it's important. You really don't want to mess with a wasp nest. And if they can sting through this suit over and over again, there's no way I'm getting myself in the middle of a wasp hive. Not happening. All right. Well, I'm going to pause because I'm just going to be trying to tear this off, and it's going to take me a second because I'm trying not to destroy all my stuff. So let me unwrap this. Let's see where we're at, and then we'll start back up here in just a second. That took a little longer than expected, but we got her. I had to get my smoker up and running too, so see what we're looking at in here. I can see just through the little peephole here that we have at the top, lots and lots of bees. So I'm hoping I'm hoping to get down to my brood box just so I can see what's going on there. See if I need to add any frames. We'll see what's going on. Oh, they're still on the sugar. Put this out in the sun. Let it dry out. It's a little damp from their condensation. I'm a little nervous to see what these boxes are going to be like. Since we had everything sealed up so tight, these are condensating hives when you do that, and it leaves the condensation in there on purpose so that way the bees don't have to try to venture out of the hive during winter when they need to go find water sources. The only problem that I'm noticing in on my, it's my third year I guess doing this now, is that it makes your wood a little bit squishy, and when you're only using brad nails to hold everything together, it can kind of, when you try to pull out your frames, because they've propolized everything, when you try to pull out your frames, you don't really have solid wood. You kind of have like a little bit of squishy wood your first year, so, or your first time opening it up and kind of letting everything dry out. So it's kind of what I'm trying to do. I'm going to leave that there for them. They can have their sugar. I might just take off this whole top section here. You can already see that lots of bees through the center here. Not really any on the sides. On this inner frame here, I don't see any bees on this side. See any bees on this side, so I'm wondering if it's just a little bit too wet for them to want to utilize. So I might see about pulling this frame and putting a different honey frame in there, so they have somewhere, one, to put some of their resources that they're bringing back into the hive, and then two, you know, just kind of preventative maintenance, I guess. So I think I'm just going to take this one off right at the moment. Most of the time the queen's not up in this top one, so I'm going to be very careful about how I set this down, because you never know, she could be up here. So I'm just going to try to not disturb this hive as much as possible. They seem like they're pretty busy. They seem like they're docile. I haven't had anybody pinging me yet. To be determined. I guess we'll kind of wait to see what they're going to do. I would like to try to drive some of these guys down a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of give them a little bit of smoke. And then once I've kind of feel like the majority of them are away from the top, I'll kind of try to pop it up, lay it on its side, and try to go and get into this next box here. Very propolized. Also very wet, so I'm trying to go very slow with this. Figure out the best time to tap where these girls stand. We can go right over here. Nice and slow. if the queen is in there. How are these looking? Hold on. What am I hearing? I was hearing a different buzzing, sorry. Sometimes that can be the queen. I also want to be careful about other robber bees out there looking for resources right now because it's spring. So let's get these girls kind of down into the box as well. A little bit. Seeing some drones, seeing a lot of worker bees. That's good. Good number of worker bees over drone bees tells me most likely I still have a laying queen in here. I don't know if there's any science to my thought on this one either, but if I lay these out and just kind of get a little bit of air movement through them, if they've kind of been a little bit funky with too much moisture, that might kind of help dry out the wood a little bit. Just a weird educated hypothesis on that one. There is no science backed on that one. Don't quote me on it. I'm just thinking moisture, water, wood. I think I would like to, okay, I'll replace one frame I can see, maybe two. Okay, just get them some propolis. I'm just looking at like the hive and how everything's looking in here. It's looking pretty good. Okay, let me see if I can see anything in here. I'm gonna guess the majority, like the queen's probably in here somewhere. So, hi, careful. So I'm guessing the queen's probably in here. We've got the majority of our bees in here. I see a couple bees doing some waggle dances, which is really cute. That's where the bees are basically telling all of the other foraging bees, hey, this is the route that you need to go to find the best pollen. I'm seeing bees coming in here with pollen, which is good. I'm not really sure what they're picking up right now. It could mostly be like tree pollen. That's generally their primary first food source. That and dandelions. Dandelions are up right now, so a lot of these bees are collecting pollen from dandelions. So there's that. All right, I want to try to, I can still see I got some Apivar strips in here. These kind of didn't really, they do their job over the winter. They kind of keep the number of mite load down. I just don't want them to stay in here because I don't want the moisture staying in here. I want things to dry out a little bit. Like I said, it's feeling a little moist in here. I don't want fungus. I don't want mold. Just a little bit of surface mold on some of my frames. That's why I'm kind of trying to set them in the sun and let the sun and the UV do what they need to do to help me clean it up. All right, let's see if I can get these other ones out real quick. Excuse me, girls. I'm sorry, I did squish you. Just trying to clean up your hive for you. Trying to help you out. Get all that shit out of here. love listening to the western meadowlarks when it's springtime. Love it. Wow. Some of these bees have like bright orange pollen baskets filled up right now. Kind of cool to see. Let's see if I can pause and I'll bring you over here and you can see some of them. It's hard to pause this. I got my gloves on, so I'm just gonna do my best here. Let me flip this. All right. So I can zoom in here for you so you can just kind of sit and observe for just a little bit with me. I'm just looking at what the bees are doing, what they're bringing in. You see, like right here? See that one right there, like right in the middle of the frame? Look at how much pollen they've got on their legs right now. That one too. So they're bringing in some stuff. Those are pollen baskets. That's where they hold it. So we've got some that are bright yellow. We've got some that are neon orange. I was trying to see if I can find any of my bees doing a waggle dance right at the moment. They were a second ago. Probably don't want to leave this hive open on the bottom here too long. This is still where all the brood is. So I will kind of just pause this for a second. I'm going to look through these frames. I'm going to take out the rest of these little Epovar strips. Get those out of here. And then I'm not really going to, I might try to do a hive inspection to see if I can see the queen. I'm not going to get bent out of shape if I don't find it, because if I can find good positive signs of the queen, obviously if I've got plenty of worker bees in there, there's a good laying queen. So I'm just going to look for other things like queen cells, stuff like that, and then I'm going to get these girls closed back up. Okay, sorry, this is going to get really difficult. I'm trying to do this one-handed here. Alright, so what am I looking for when I'm looking at these hives? Okay, can you see all that bright yellow stuff in there? So that's a little bit of a combination. We got a little bit of nectar in here. You can see right there in the middle of the screen. That orange stuff, obviously, you know what that is, right? That's pollen. So these girls are doing a great job filling up their pollen. And then this is capped honey here, so we've got just a little bit of mixed resources there. That's fine. But you can see they're starting to fill up with a little bit of nectar. See if I have any baby brood in here. I can't quite see. Oh, no, that's not one. So no baby brood in this one. That's fine. I wouldn't obviously want to leave them out in the wind like I am right now, so we're going to try to pause. That's why some of my videos are so long. Sorry, I don't have very good grip here. Trying to work with the bees, wrestle the bees. Bees are more important than my camera, so that's kind of why I would rather just not be stopping. Sorry if that doesn't work for your flow on how you like to watch videos, but it's not about making the videos so much as it is with your bee management. Right now, this is, I'm not even using some of these frames yet. Okay, that's good. They're working on this one for some honey. Flip some of these around. This outer one's got honey on it. I'm wondering if one of these inner frames here is going to have my queen. It's always a bonus when you get to see her, but I don't have to. Like I said, I'm not gonna get too hung up on it this year. I'm also, while I'm looking at my bees, I'm looking for other things like any signs of mites, deformed wings, anything like that that tells me there's any kind of disease going on. So I'm looking at my bees' wings. Ooh, this one's got lots of pollen in there. Lots and lots of pollen, awesome. No queen. That's fine. No queen that I can see. This one's got some pretty good pollen going on in there. It's really hard to see in the shade, sorry. They're kind of covering it up right now too. So if I kind of turn it, I hope you can see it. You kind of can a little bit. See where the pollen is? Right there? Yeah. And then you've got a lot of like little bees that are on here. Like, I'm just going to try to do a close-up so you can kind of see the majority of them. You'll have some that have pollen baskets on them. So, just looking at my bees, looking at their wings. Wings are looking good. There's no mixed brood in here, that's fine. Also not seeing any queen cells or anything like that, so that tells me that, so far it tells me that they're happy with their queen. They're not getting ready to make a new queen for any reason, like she's not sick or anything like that. Queen cells are going to have those, they're going to look like a peanut shaped comb, and it's going to be generally like in the middle of your frame. I've not had to experience one yet. I keep looking for them every year. I don't, you know, I'm still inexperienced enough where I would have to probably be like calling my master beekeeper friend, Miss Roxanne Oakes, and have her, you know, visualize what I'm seeing to see if my assumptions are correct. Sometimes not so much, but okay, we're getting close to the middle here, so we could be seeing signs of the queen here soon. Oops, no rolling any babies. Not seeing any, not really seeing any laying. Wow, a lot of pollen on you girls, good job. I'm not seeing any eggs as yet. It could be a little bit more toward the middle here. Just gonna set that back down in there. Okay. This is definitely like the middle frame, so it's not a guarantee that she's going to be there, but that's why I'm like, I don't want to leave those other frames out in the wind too long. I'm gonna, if I don't see her probably on this frame or maybe the next one, I'm just gonna close everything back up and be done with it. Okay, this one looks like it's gonna be heavy, and it has a lot of bees on it, so I don't want to squish anybody. I'm trying to make room for my fingertips here on the sides so I can pick it up before they jump back in. Nope, that wasn't one. I thought I squished one. I'm like, oh no. Okay. I say this every time, but these bees are actually, for what I'm doing to them, they're being very docile, okay? They're not, you can see they're not jumping or they're not smashing up against my veil right now. Down. This next one, whew, this next one's got a lot of bees. I don't know. Don't you know? There we go. I would think I would be seeing more egg cells somewhere. I'm just seeing them filling it with a lot of pollen. That's concerning to me. And I'm not seeing any, wait, I thought I thought I just saw an unmarked queen. Let me look again. Okay, maybe not. Maybe my eyes are playing tricks on me. I'm just gonna look really thoroughly because I thought I saw a longer body bee in here, which is a queen. Okay, maybe not. I might just be seeing things here. Joe. Alright, bees, get out of the way. I need to push this down. Oops, sorry. I'm sorry. Wow, there's nothing. I'm not seeing any queens. I'm not seeing any eggs. That kind of makes me concerned. Where are the eggs? Where are my eggs? This is my brood box. Where's my brood? Okay, come on now. Just need to stand here for a second so I can get a better hold. What the hell? Where's all my eggs? If I've got a good laying queen, where the hell is she? Where's my eggs? They should be in here. Thank you, girls, for being so gentle with me right now. I am trying to be as fast as I can, I promise you. I'm trying not to leave you exposed to the elements. No eggs. Capped honey. No eggs. Oh. What's going on? Look at our strip. Alright, I'm going to put these girls back together. I might have to go through some of those top frames a little bit more closely to see what I see. Gotta move it together, girls. Here, move. Move. Gotta get all those frames back in. Everybody out of the way. Everybody move. I think I saw an 8-bar strip on the bottom of this thing. I might have to try to pull it out. Yeah, there's one on the bottom. Let's see if I can reach my hand in there and get it. Ever feel like Winnie the Pooh? I do. Got it. Okay, everybody back in. Let's go. Well, I mean, they've got empty frames, so they have room to make brood if there's a laying queen in here. I'm not seeing any queen cells as yet. I didn't do the top 2 boxes. Don't want to squish anybody, watch out. crystallized honey on the side here. And that's nothing. It's a little propolis, little burr comb. All right, everybody back in. All right, let's put these two back in. Okay, we'll close this guy up and we'll move to the next. Put the comb here at the bottom. Oh, there's nothing in it. It's just extra comb. Build out. So you can slide in. Sometimes that's the trick. Especially when you got bees on it. So you're not squishing anybody and you're not causing basically a pheromone to be released that will tell everybody that it's somebody got killed, somebody's being attacked, it's time to attack. Like, we don't want that. Try to space these out. They feel like they're a little tight. There we go. It feels like it's too close to the edge, which we don't want because then they like to build their comb up next to it, and when you try to pull the frame out of the hive, it's almost impossible because it's stuck to the side of the box. Okay, that one comes out. Goes back on. Minus all of those. All right, kids, here we go. Watch out. Not to squish anybody, but inevitably it always happens. That works. All right, I'm gonna put you on pause. I will go through this next one and we'll see what we can find. Okay, so not so great. So I just went and I pulled 2 frames on here and I'm already seeing larvae and everything else. So it's almost like they switched boxes. They're using this box for their brood and this one's kind of barren, so I am really hoping I'm not going to see any other larvae in that top box that I pulled off and set aside. I'm not going to go through this one anymore. If there's baby brood in here, I don't want to chill them. I don't want to kill the eggs, so I've already seen signs of the queen in this box, this middle box. So I'm gonna close her back up, and then I'm gonna just look through that top box where all their resources were, all of their honey, their pollen, all of that stuff, and then see what I can see. Just kind of continuing to look at the state of the bees, like look at all of their wings and in every box, just to kind of see, make sure that all of the bees that I'm noting in here, like nobody's got deformed wing disease. I'm not seeing any mites. not smelling any foul brood or anything like that. I'm not seeing signs of wax moth infestation. There's no hive beetles. Things like that that are pests that you really want to mitigate at the beginning of your season because they've overwintered with your bees. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now too. I'm trying to be as fast but as careful and cautious as I can because I want to see the health of the bees and what's going on in here. Like I said, I already pulled 2 frames and found both of them had larvae on them. I would like to go through and pull the rest, but I just don't know if it's warm enough to merit being able to do that. If it was maybe just a little bit, according to my thermometer. So if it were at least maybe 50 or above, I would feel like the larvae would probably be okay, like they would be able to sustain or stay warm enough, but I don't want to kill them off or shock them because I'm exposing them to the cold. And it is windy right now, so I'm trying to minimize my risk of any hive die-off or any, I don't want any colonies collapsing because of me, my stupid mistakes. I'm just going to get these bees away from my edge so I can close them back up because I don't want to squish them. This one's still heavy. This is where all of their overwintered honey and pollen and all of that stuff were. So this is kind of just like, this is the refrigerator. This is where they come to, the rest of the bees will come to eat. So they still have sugar patties that they're working through that I gave them second time this spring. Got a fly on here. Get away, fly. Shoo. I think I will just open these up just to see, make sure that I'm not seeing any brood up here. If I am, then I don't know what I'm gonna do. I would say it's better to have your brood at the bottom box. That's where, then that way all the bees will work their way up through here. If the bees are acting like they only have these 2 boxes and they're not utilizing that bottom box to fill out, then, or maybe they just haven't done it yet because it's not warm enough yet to be determined. I'm not really sure what that's gonna look like for my bees this winter or this spring. So yeah, we're gonna play this by ear. I'm gonna open up some of these and kind of see what we're looking at. So I'll let you know. All right. So what I'm seeing for my first hive here is, as best I can tell, there could be a queen in here still. But what I'm noticing is, like I said earlier, this middle box. If I can share with you guys what I'm trying to close that down. So this middle box is the one that appears to have different stages like brood and some larvae. I still didn't see any eggs in this one, but I saw very fresh larvae. So that once I saw that, I stopped. This, when I went through here, really had nothing. There was no larvae, hardly any workers in this box, really. So I'm not sure if this just got like too cold or whatever and they migrated up to the middle box. Maybe as, summer heats up and their stuff gets warm, they'll kind of migrate back down to where it's cooler in the bottom box, I'm hoping. That's kind of where like all the air ventilation is too. So I'm just wondering if maybe it was too cool and they were trying to accommodate and adjust, so they moved all of their brood up here. Their resources still look really good. There's still a lot of room in here for them to bring in stuff. I'm not seeing any signs of anything laying, no eggs, no larvae, no, actually no even pollen right now. I think they're still just bringing in nectar right now from what I'm seeing. So I'm still trying to decide if I'm gonna give them a nectar sugar water. I have it made up ready to go, so I'm still thinking on that one. But I'm gonna leave the top off of this one just for a little bit. There is just a little tiny bit of like some surface mold on here, so we'll let the sun kind of hit that a little bit. I'm just gonna leave the top as is, kind of cover up their holes, but let the sun do its work on this for me, and then I'm gonna move over to the next hive. All right, so I still get to unwrap this one, so that's going to be my first order of business. So rather than having you watch me struggle with tape and straps, I'll just pause this. So I'm not going to do any of that time-lapse stuff, so I'm going to pause that and then we'll come back. Yeah, okay, so I just beat on this a little bit, and it must have been stuck or must have been rusted or something, because it seems to be working. So I would believe that that's correct. I believe that it's 70 degrees because it definitely feels it. So, okay, I feel less terrible about leaving the brood open on the ground on my last inspection. So, as you can see, taking off that cover has stirred them up quite a bit. So I'm just trying to let them settle down for a little bit. I don't need a whole bunch of bees on high alert trying to sting or get aggressive, so I'm just going to let them calm down for a second. And then thinking I'm going to take this box off as well, kind of the same thing I did on the last one. Tiny bit of surface mold here. I'll try to clean some of that off. I do want to let these set out in the sun for a little bit too, and maybe dry out for a little bit. So we'll have to see what these are doing. Oh, guest visitor, beekeeper Philip Lane showing up. Say hello. Alright, we're going to pause you for a second. Okay, well, this one, same thing. It's feeling a little damp in there, so I'm just kind of trying to let it air out a little bit. I did take off their top resource box. I'm in the second one right now. This one I should be seeing maybe some capped honey, maybe some pollen and things like that. But hopefully I'm not seeing the same thing I did in the other box, which was larvae. And that's exactly what I don't want to see in that box. I'd rather see that in the brood box. I got a little bit of comb that wants to travel down. I'm gonna grab it. Here, comb. Just trying to clean up some debris so it doesn't make a mess in there. Alright, let's figure some out. Yeah, what is going on? There's some more wonky comb. Okay. Their wings look good. I'm not seeing any. I'm seeing nectar. I'm seeing pollen in this one. No mixed comb, like no brood or anything like that. I'm not seeing any larvae in this, so that makes me happy. There's a little bit of comb on the bottom. I'm going to want to clean that up before I put this back in. Okay, so I've got cat brood right there. And I found the queen. Okay, going back in. I just saw the queen. She's in here. Okay. That's awesome. I'll see if I can show you. I'm gonna risk it and take off the gloves so I have a little bit ability to move my hands here. 1 second. All right. Sorry, I'm gonna have to try to edit that out. Okay, let's see if I can pull her back up again. She's blue. She'll move fast. So I'm gonna try not to roll my queen here. But she was on this frame. Let's see if she's still on this frame. See right there? See the blue dot? There she is. There's my queen. All right, y'all. Where's Waldo? Bingo, we found her. That's always exciting. Yay! Positive confirmation that I have a queen in this box, so that's good. Okay, so what I did not show you on camera is because I'm struggling with heavy boxes right now because this whole box is still full of honey that they overwintered with. So I took out a totally loaded capped honey frame from this box since that's where the queen's at. I put a completely blank frame in there so she can have her worker start working on that and filling that out. I just want the bees to know that there's still room in this box so we don't have a swarming issue for later. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to do a little bit more cleanup here and then we're going to call it a day. I'll just have you observe what I'm observing. So this hive is just a flurry of activity right now. So obviously you can see the volume of bees coming and going. Let me zoom in so you can just see what they're bringing in. Pollen. Yep. Nice bright orange pollen, some yellow pollen, orange pollen. Isn't it amazing how much they can actually hold? Got a dead bee there in the front entrance. That could be either a bee from another hive that was either wrong place or just trying to steal resources. Or it just could be a dead bee from this hive. There are yellow jackets out, so I just killed the queen. I think yellow jacket. I just smooshed her. She was gigantic. So I'm gonna, after I'm done with this, I'm gonna go fill up all of my yellow jacket traps. So just note to anybody else that has yellow jackets, please do your local beekeepers a favor and go put out your yellow jacket traps with all of the yellow jacket queen pheromones in there, and do everybody a great favor and decimate the population of your yellow jackets and help out your local beekeepers. So here's my PSA for you for today. So I think because it is so busy here, they look like they're doing very well. Their resources are great. I know that there's not a lot of nectar out right now, but I'm noticing it in the hive, so I don't know where they're getting the nectar from. So it could be flowering trees, it could be it could also be just all the dandelions too. So anybody that has to kill dandelions, you know, you hate them, whatever, please do everybody a favor and only spray dandelion poison in the evenings or at dusk when there's less bee activity, so that way they're not bringing it back to their hive. That would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. I'm just going to show you this for comparison so you can see how big this. It's a big one. That's probably a queen. So she's dead. Okay, so First kind of really good hive inspection for the year is done. My problem for both hives that I'm going to have to figure out is, are the queens going to migrate back down into the brood box? Or am I going to have to physically move them to get them to do what I want? So, not really sure on that. Whew, sorry, I am hot. It's pretty breezy right now, but still, these suits, I'm gonna have to find an even cooler suit than this one, because it's a lot. It is a lot. Sorry, I'm covering part of my camera. I'm not doing very good filming today. Oh, nice rosy complexion. Anyway, dogs are content, I'm content. Saw one queen, makes me happy. I see signs of the other queen, which makes me happy, so I can live with that for now. Might have to do some research to figure out what I need to do in order to try to get the majority of the hive to migrate down into their boxes. So, didn't get stung today. The bees were pretty mild today, so I was happy about that. Didn't have to use too much smoke on them. Yeah, I don't have anything else. That's about it. So, hope everybody's doing good and happy on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. I'm gonna strip out of my bee suit here and maybe go polish off a car and go for a little ride. So, anyway, I hope everybody has a great rest of their weekend. Take care. Be good. Just wanted to show a couple other things. So this was a neat little purchase that I just had. So this is used to basically be able to have the bees where they can come and feed and don't have to worry about getting drowned. So I've got one of these in my backyard rain gutter, and then this one up here. So working pretty great so far. I'm pretty happy with it. I was also going to show you some of the bee crops that I got for some of my bees. So let me take you inside real quick and I'll show you those. I also wanted to show this. So this is the other little thermometer I got. So you can see, I think that one in the back was just kind of stuck, or maybe it got rusted, stiff, shut, whatever. So yeah, that's that. I have some cleanup to do in my front little yard here, but I got some flowers I wanted to show you guys. Okay, so this is also what I was up to yesterday. I've been mapping and planning out, trying to find some other beneficial perennials for my plants. So I did get another peony that I love them. They do well out here. I got this beautiful variation called Coral Sunset, so I'm hoping that does well here. I think I've got areas laid out where I want all of these. I got a couple clematis. I'd like these to be climbing around that trellis around my bee yard. These will be beautiful. These are candy stripe clematis. I've got some other things that are just very good and beneficial for the bees. Yarrow is very good. This is also, I have plants that should be blooming at different times during the season. So this is a spring-autumn bloomer, which is good because sometimes the blooms, everything dies off or blooms all at once. There's not enough for the bees. This aster, bloom in autumn. Love that. Bee balm is a great bee, the bees actually love this. I think that's why they really call it that. This is a tricolored one. This is supposed to be pinks and magentas, and so we'll see how well they like that one. Bees generally tend to gravitate toward everything that are like blues and purples because they see kind of in ultraviolet, so they go for the blues, the purples first. So that's kind of why you're going to see a lot of my stuff is purple and blue. I do have some pinks in here just because I want a little variation for myself. I think that's a salvia. These, I can't remember what these are. These are a lupine, yeah. So I've got some, actually I have a different colored lupine. I'll show you this other one. It's really cool. Look at this one. Look at this lupine. Isn't that going to be beautiful? Got some coneflowers, hollyhocks. I want to put those maybe on the back side where the bee yard is. Also need to kind of just remember that I have to plant these where the deer are not going to eat them because I do have deer. Goldenrod. I was very torn about this one. Goldenrod is supposed to be amazing for your bees in the autumn, but the book I was reading said it can make your honey taste funny. I'm like, I don't know if I want that. It says it makes it taste like molasses-y, that kind of a tang. Penstemum. These are, every book I looked at said those in there. I think that was it. Yeah, that's it. So that's going to be for the bee yard or the bee yard proximity. So I've got a little bit of planting to do for those and some good preparation to figure out where everything's going to go. So, all right. Well, I'm going to sit down in my sunroom here and do some cleaning in here. Enjoy some sunshine. Enjoy the heat in here because it's, yeah, it's pretty warm in here. So I'm going to open up some windows in here and just get a little bit of an airflow going, and then we'll sit and do some cleanup because I've got junk everywhere. So, all right, everybody take care, be good, have a great weekend. We'll see you soon.